All right, my friends, time for another fantastic Revit tip. All right, this came up recently. One of my clients was asking about tagging materials. They were tagging exterior materials, and I realized some people tag interior materials and don't just use notes, like a tag, not a tag, but a note pointing at it and saying, hey, this is tile, this is gypboard, or if it's exterior, this is siding, or this is brick, or this is CMU, split face block, or this is limestone, whatever. Okay, whatever. Sometimes you just want to put a tag on there. And so I started messing with tags and working with that. And I realized, wait a minute, some people don't know how to put like materials onto interior partitions. And let's just say, the best example I can think of right now is placing tile on an interior, like a bathroom, or like you got a toilet room and it's got um, tile up to say 4 feet, and maybe there's a cap across the top of the tile of a different size, maybe 6 or 8 inches long of a cap instead of just the squares. So let's take a look at making a tile on your wall. There's a couple different ways, and enough with me jabbering. Let's move right into Revit. So I am going to share my screen with you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, here we are. We are in Revit, okay? That's Italian for Revit. And I know some Italians call it Revito, don't you? Huh? I'm just kidding. Okay, so here we are. Let's go to my 3D view and you'll see, all right, there is the building that we're talking about. And we're not going to go inside the building. Let's just stay outside and I'll explain this whole thing out in the courtyard in front of the building. So let's go to the plan first, okay? Let's go to the plan of this building and let's put a wall out here on the ground so we can just talk, okay? So I'm going to type WA on the keyboard, and that brings up, let me just move over here. Interior, I mean, there's a bunch of walls pop up with WA. Yeah, you could have gone up and clicked on architecture and wall, but WA, get used to shortcuts. Okay, so I'm just going to put down an interior wall, an S3, okay? And you might be wondering, what on earth is an S3? And I just placed a piece of S3 right here, okay? And so I've got my, let me just show you. And when I go to walls, I've got walls named interior and exterior, okay? And for the exterior ones, it's just what they are. Maybe it's cast in place, maybe it's brick on brick wall, like a low wall, maybe it's split face or brick or whatever, exterior walls. But the key I wanted to show you is there's an M8. That is a masonry nominal 8 inches. We know it's 7 and 5/8, but nominally 8. So that's what I put in the name. And then M12s, S6. Ooh, what's an S? An S is for steel studs. So 6-inch steel stud. And then I've got W's for wood. Makes sense. W4, W6. We know that 2x4s are not 2x4. They're 1.5 by 3.5. But nominally, the name of them. Anyway, so let's just get past that. And for my interior walls, I do the same thing. There's some finishes, the F1, 2, 3, 4. Those are just like they're little studs, the finish. Oh, what are they called? I can't think of what they're called right now. Okay, furring strips. There we go, with gypboard on them. And then down here, the H studs are for shafts. And then see, there it is again, M8, M10, M12. And I have a -1 and 2 for 1 and 2 hour walls. This is not really a how to name your walls, but I'm just letting you know, okay? This is free, okay? So S3, when I put an S3 down, that is a 3 and 5/8 inch stud, metal stud. So that's where that came from. And then there's an S6 below for a 6-inch stud. Being aside, I put down an S3, okay? And if I tag this, TG gives me a tag, okay? If I go to tag this wall, TG on the keyboard, TG. Come on. There we go. If I go to tag this thing, what I'm going to do is put a leader on it. If I tag it, it's going to tag out as an S3. And because tags will grab the whatever you have built in, it pulls that information right into the tag. And currently on this tag for my walls, I'm pulling the type mark. So it automatically pulls an S3. So if I have an M8, it'll pull an M8. If you get my gist. But it's not pulling individual materials that are inside this wall. It's just giving you the mark of the whole wall. Okay, that is all an aside. Because if I go to 3D and take a look at this thing, here's my little wall sitting out here. And it's got gypboard on it. It's just a plain old gypboard wall. But one thing that I want to share with you guys is it doesn't have tile on it, okay? There's different ways to add tile to an interior partition. You can either embed it inside the wall type or slap it on the outside. Either one works. But if you embed it inside the wall type, then you've got to swap that wall out for the one with the tile on it whenever you have that condition. And you've got to also consider what's on the other side of the wall also. So that may get a little cumbersome. Slapping the tile on from just slapping it on any wall that you have works great, and it's easier because then you don't have to think about the wall type. It's a finish that you stuck on that. That's the sound it makes when you put tile on the wall. Okay, so let's just go and talk about both ways of doing it. If you wanted, see, I click on this wall and it's just an interior S3. Let's duplicate it. I'm going to say, I'm going to click on file type. And what pops up here is the opportunity for me to duplicate this wall right there, top right of this dialog box. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to say an S3 with tile with tile up to 4 feet. Let's just call it what it is. This is going to be an S3 with tile up to 4 feet on one side. Done. Okay. So that's the new name of it. So let's go look at the structure of it. Okay. This is listing the structure. We're not going to go into that right now. I'll do another video on how to build a wall from scratch if you like. Put that in the comments if you want me to do that, because some people don't know how to build walls. And so whatever, you have to get a preview popped up and it has to be a section preview in order to release and get these buttons down here that modify the vertical structure. That's why it says it, modify vertical structure. All right. So we're not going to assign and merge regions. We're not going to deal with that right now. What I want to talk about are sweeps and reveals. We can add a sweep on the outside of the building. That makes sense. Like if you've got a piece of precast that's linear on the side of your wall, boom, you add a sweep. But you can add sweeps on the interior walls too. You can put a crown molding inside on the wall type. You can embed a sweep like a chair rail or even the base molding. You can do all that in Revit. But let's do it. If I click on add a sweep, what it wants here is the profile. And I could load a profile or load a profile that's on my system somewhere, or I can add a profile that I have loaded into Revit. But I don't have one made yet. I wanted to do this from scratch for you guys. So I'm going to hit cancel and say, okay. I'm going to say, okay. So now this wall that I've got highlighted right here, I'm just going to move it right there. It is an interior S3 with tile up to 4 feet, but it's not really yet. So let's go make a profile that we would use as a sweep. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to say file, and I'm going to move my face to the other side. Hover over new and click family. So we're talking about a new family here. And it's a profile family. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to scroll down to, wait for it, profile. There it is, profile. Don't even have to have profile hosted, just plain old profile is what we're dealing with. So just click on profile and say, okay, you see? All right, so here we go. This is looking at These are just your insertion point is the intersection of these two green lines, okay? Which those are just reference planes. So here we go. I'm going to draw up with a line tool. I'm going to draw this thing up 4 feet, okay? And then I'm going to go over to the right, okay? A little bit. I'm going to go 1/4 inch. That'll be my thickness. Oops. Create a line. Got to go over 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. There we go. And back down to the bottom and close it. Okay. When you're making profiles, it has to be a closed loop. It can be any shape you want. But this is going to represent tile on the wall, 1/4 inch thick, right on the wall. Okay. So now that I've got it, I'm going to save it. Save. And I'm going to call it 4 foot tall. Oh, wait. I always put the word profile at the beginning of a profile because this is not 4 foot of tile. This is a profile for 4 foot of tile. You got me? 4 foot tile for wall. Let's just call it what it is. You guys can name it whatever you want later. It's a profile for 4 foot tall, wait, tile. 4 foot tile for wall. There we go. Save. Okay. Now this is a profile and I'm going to load it into my project and close it. So it gets loaded into the project ready to be used, but let me go back to 3D. This wall doesn't have it on it yet, right? So if I click on that wall and I say edit type, and let's go back in, you have to hit structure, the structure edit button, and that I'm going to click on sweeps. Okay, now that I have one, I'm going to hit add. Right there's the add button. I've loaded it into the project already. I'm going to hit add. And there is a default profile, but you never use that because that's just a 6-inch square. That's silly. On the drop down, it's all the profiles that you have loaded into this project. And I'm just going to scroll down. La, 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 la. There it is at the bottom. It's a profile, the one we just made, 4 foot tile for the wall. So I'm going to click it. So now that profile is going to get used. Well, I started it down at the bottom and I drew up from the insertion point. So the insertion point, let's skip material for a second. Distance is 0 inches from the base of the wall. Perfect. But it doesn't have material assigned to it yet. If I said okay to this, it puts it in there. You guys see it? Right there, right there. Tile stuck right on the face of the wall. But it doesn't have a material assigned to it. If I said okay right now and said okay again, you'll see tile pop in on the wall. That's nice and all, but it has no material associated with it at all. It's just generic whatever. It's like gorilla snot or whatever. It could be anything. So I'm going to go back in. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to say edit type. Okay. We're going to go back, structure, and we're going to go back to the sweeps. And I'm going to give this thing material. Okay. I'm going to click on in the box and I get these 3 little dots on this little button. If I click it, it initiates my material list. And so I'm just going to type tile. Good thing I have a tile in here. There it is. Ceramic tile, 4-inch blue. I love that stuff. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And so that's the material that's getting on this thing. I'm going to say OK, OK, and it puts that on here. You guys can see it here already using the material inside my section. And when I say OK, it puts it on the wall. Okay, so we've got an embedded wherever this wall goes. If I decide to say create some, add some more walls, okay, I can go boom, boom, boom. Okay, so take a look. This wall gets tile 4 foot tall and it cleans up around the corner perfectly wherever you put it. Okay, done, but not done with video. Because what I want to do now is say, wait a minute, what if I wanted a cap across the top? You know, these are 4-inch squares. What if I wanted a 4-inch by 8 piece of tile across the top or any shape? We can do that quite easily. Same process, but we just make ourselves a different shape. So here we go. Move my face. I'm going to say File, New. Here we go. You follow with me. New, Family. going into the profile again. We're going to come down here to P profile, planting, parking, profile. Okay, so here we go. This time we're just going to make a tiny little square. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here, a line from the intersection. I'm going to go up 4 inches, okay, over the 1/4 inch and back down and closed. It has to be a closed loop. I'm going to save it, save. This is a profile tile cap. Tile cap. That seems good to me. I'll call it 4-inch tile cap. That way, in fact, I'll call it 4-inch tile cap. That way you know how tall it is. Okay, 4-inch tile cap. Save. It's a profile. It's not a tile cap yet. It's just a profile. So I'm going to load it to the project, and now it needs to be used. Okay, so I'm going to click on one of these walls, and then edit type. I'm going back in. Cover me, I'm going in. Okay, sweeps. I just have to add another one now. Instead of the default profile, I am going to come down here and look at this. There it is, 4-inch tile cap profile. Okay, that's it. Bam, that's the one I want. Now the material is going to be a little bit different here. If I say that it is going to be the blue tile, well, then it's not 4x8. It doesn't look right. And you're going to see that in a second. So I'm going to say, go ahead and use that for now. I'll just show you. It's using the same one. The distance from is 0 inches. No, it's going to be 4 foot, okay, from the base of the wall on the exterior side again. So here I go. I'm going to say, okay. And so when I say okay, it pops in right down here. And you can see the horizontal line right there. In fact, I'll move it up a little bit so you can see that it's really there. I'm going to go back into sweeps. I'm going to say, okay, just lift it up to 4'2", apply. Okay. So look, so this tile, you can move it up and down on the wall. So I'm going to say, okay, okay. And when we go and look at it in 3D, there it is. It's at 4'2" to the bottom of it. Now, the material is incorrect, right? So let's just open our materials for a sec and make a new one really fast. We'll go to Manage, Materials. Wait for it. Okay. I'm going to take this blue tile, and I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate the material and the assets. Boom. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to call it 4-inch blue tile cap. I'm going to change it to being a tile cap, okay? And so now I need to go to graphics and not use 4-inch tile, because if you guys look over here, it's like ding, ding, ding. I want the 4x8. So the pattern needs to be different. So I'm going to click on the pattern, and the model pattern that I want to use is an 8-inch tile. So I'm going to have to make a new one. All right. This is going to be I'm going to call it 4x8 tile cap. That's my material. And the vertical lines, or you put it at 90 to get vertical lines every 8 inches. There we go. Every 8 inches, we're going to get a vertical line. And I'm going to say, okay. Okay. And so there it is. 4x8. Those are inches. I should rename that. 4-inch by 8-inch tile cap. Okay. Okay. So that's what's going to be used for the blue tile cap. I'm going to say, okay. But it's not being used anywhere yet, right? So if I click on the wall and then I say edit type, we're going back in, cover me, here we go. All right, sweeps. This guy right here, let's just look at it. Profile tile cap. It's the one at 4'2". The material, the material needs to be the other one, the blue tile cap. I'm gonna say, okay, okay. Walk my way back out. Okay, okay. 0 thickness. Uh-oh. Must have wait a minute. Did I do something wrong? Oh, I accidentally clicked on add structure. Hold it. Delete that. That was an accidental click up here. I just accidentally clicked on the button. Okay, there we go. There. Now take a look at what we've got. We've got 4-inch square tiles below and a regular pattern of 8-inch lines for the tile cap. And if you come to the elevation, let's just go down to building elevation. Let's go to south. Okay. If you're looking at this wall here, there it is. Okay. It's looking beautiful. In fact, there she is right there, looking all nice and pretty. The only problem is it's not sitting right on top of it. So last thing that I need to show you guys is what if I wanted the tile to be a little more easily varied in its height? Because sometimes I want it to be 6 foot, and sometimes the tile needs to be 4 foot, and sometimes 8. You need to be able to adjust it. Wouldn't that be great if we had that parameter built into that? Okay, so that's what we're going to do right now. Oh, let me give you some full color here. Let me go and turn off my, I'm going to turn off my view template that was controlling it so that I could quickly go to consistent colors. There we go. So there we go. We've got our tile and it's above, we've got our tile and we got our cap. Okay. But let's make this variable so we can adjust it. So I'm going to go make the variable piece inside the profile. So here we go. Come with me. So I'm going to go down to my families and I'm going to go down to profiles. I'm going to slide down to, there it is, 4-foot tile for the wall. That's what it's called, okay? And if I right click on that and say edit, it's going to take me there. This is a static 4-foot solid piece that extrudes, right? But I can put a parameter on it. So if I put a dimension to it, from down to the tippy top of it, it says 4 feet. But if I click on that dimension now, and up at the top here, hopefully you guys can see it, there's a little button for create a parameter and associate it with the item that I have highlighted. So this dimension is about to get a new parameter, okay? And I'll call it height. Boom. And it's a type parameter. And all I have to do is hit OK. Okay. So now I can control the height of this thing. That's a good thing. So watch this. We're going to load it back into the project and close it. That's all I had to do. Do you want to save it? Sure. Sure. Whatever. Yeah. Replace it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. It's back in the project. Overwrite the existing one. Yeah. It's not stuck at 4 feet anymore, friends. Watch this. If I go in, no, before I go in, look at this. If I'm going to go over to the profile and I'm going to expand it, okay? It says 4-foot tile for the wall. Well, I'm going to rename this now. Rename. It is tile for the wall. Let me get rid of 4 foot because this one below it, whoops, this one right here that says 4 foot, I am going to rename that 4-foot dash 0-inch. Okay, I'm just naming it 4 feet because we got tile for the wall named 4 foot. If I double click on the 4 foot now, the name of the type, I get the box, the parameter, the box comes up and it says you're using 4 feet. Good. So let me duplicate it right here. Now I can duplicate it here and say my new one is going to be 3'8". I'll just call it 3'8". And I'll change the dimension to 3'8". Okay. So now I've got one called 3'8" and 3'8", and you'll see it shows up over here. The other way to make a new one is to just right click on one of these, okay? Right click and hit duplicate, and it makes an identical copy of the one you just duplicated. So let's just say I made this one at 6 foot. Whoa, 6 foot 0-inch. Okay. But now that I've got one at 6 foot, I have to actually double click it, open up its information so that I can actually make it 6 foot. Okay. And I'll hit OK. So that's how you make some types over here. So now let's use them. We're almost done. Watch this. If I click on my wall, if I click on the wall, okay, and I say edit type, we're going back in. Here we go. Cover me. Okay, edit. Got to go over to the section view so that I can deal with these, okay? Sweeps. Now look, here we go. This is pretty cool. Here's the profile I'm using. It says the profile is tile for the wall, 4 foot. It updated automatically here because I fixed it over in my project browser. So look at this. The profile I want is actually only going to be 4'8" tall. And then I'm going to put a 4-inch cap on top. So look at on the drop down, I can pick the 6-foot tile, the 4-foot tile, or the 3/8. And that's what I want, 3/8 tile. And then I want this 4-inch tile cap sitting right on top of it at 3/8. So the whole thing with tile and cap comes to 4 foot. I just have to do the math, right? So I need to change this to be 3/8 right there. So now when I say okay, it adjusts it here. You can see that it's sitting right on top of it. I'm going to say, okay, thank you very much. Okay, okay. And look, boom, it adjusts it. And when I put a dimension on it, bam, 4 foot. Wow, isn't that cool? Okay, last thing that I want to show you. Oh, no, second to last. If these tiles don't line up with each other, then all you have to do is hover over one and hit tab, and you can pick. Look at that. It highlighted one of those. I can pick it, and I can drag it to any location. Whoa! Don't double click it. Just tab to it, pick it carefully, move it where you want. See, I can misalign it. Excuse me, misalignment. Or I can use AL for align. Line up with this tile, you. And you can get them to align. So if you need to align your tiles, you can. Okay? So what we've got is a tile cap over the top of tile. And last thing is putting a tag on this thing. Okay? So here we go. I am going to, I have a material tag. Okay, watch this. I'm going to go to, insert a load of family. And I'm going to load a material tag, open. It says, what do you want to do? You're loading one, overwrite the existing one. Just overwrite it. Okay. Now take a look. The material tag that you guys have already on your computer, here's what it looks like. To place it, you have to go to annotate, and right here in the center, there's a group called tags, there's material tag right there. And when I go to hover over this, look what I'm getting. 5/8 inch gypsum wallboard. And I hover over this ceramic tile. It's pulling some information from somewhere, right? So let me just set that down for a second. Oops, I hit escape. Don't hit escape, Mike. Don't hit escape. Just put it right there. Okay, that's pulling information from somewhere. Let's go find out. 5/8 gypsum wallboard or tile. Where's it pulling? Let me just put another one of those. Okay, material tag. Where is it pulling the word ceramic tile from? It's got to be pulling it from somewhere. So let's go look. Let's go to manage our materials. Okay. Move my face out of the way. Okay. There's this ceramic tile, and I don't see ceramic tile written anywhere, but there happens to be another tab up here called identity. If I click on that, it's description, ceramic tile. Okay. That's where it's pulling. That tag is pulling the whole word ceramic tile, but I don't want it to do that. I would rather it pull like T1 or T2 or T3 or paint 1, paint 2, paint 3, or, you know what I'm talking about? The actual nomenclature that I'm going to use in a schedule. So that, my friend, is the mark down below. So right here, let's go, just call this T, let's just T1. Okay, T1 is going to be the tile. I'm going to say, okay. Oop. Save project. No. Go back to my materials. I left too soon. Now, the tile cap doesn't have a mark either. It needs to be T2, let's just say, okay? And ceramic tile cap, okay? So I'm just saying, look at this. That's pulling ceramic tile off of that. And if I put another material tag on that right there, look at that. It'll pull that information, ceramic tile cap. but I don't want these tags to pull the description of this. I want it to pull the mark number. So I need to fix the tag. So here we go. You just pick it. Okay. Move your face out of the way. You hit Edit Family. Okay. Simple as that. And material description is what it's pulling. It's right there in front of you. So look at this. Edit Label. And I have all these parameters over here, and sure enough, mark is one of them. So I want it to go to the right, so I click on this little green arrow, but I click on description and get rid of it. And so as an example, I'll put F7, whatever, okay? Oh, let's go with a cap. F7. That's a sample value that's going to show up right there. So that's what it's going to look like. And if I want, I could say create a line and draw myself a box around it if I'm interested. But I can't see those because of VG. Annotation is turned off. Okay, there is the line that I drew around it just for fun, just so that I can have a box. If you want a box, you don't need a box. But if you want one, there it is. Okay, so ready? Here we go. Just load this back into the project. Do you want to save it? Nah. I'm going to load it back into the project and overwrite the old one. Overwrite. Now what's the tag going to do? Boom. It's pulling the T1 and the T2. But the JIP board, let's go fix that. Manage my materials. 5/8" JIP board, remember? Oh, I'm going to go 5/8. I'm just doing a quick search. Stud layer finished. Gypsum wallboard, 5/8". Look. 5/8" gypsum wallboard was the description, but the mark number is going to be, I don't know, G7 or, F7. Remember, we were going to F7. Let's just say, let's say, okay. So now the mark number is F7. Wait for it. I just hit okay. It's pushing that information to every single piece of chipboard in the project. But you see what has happened? And so now I've got my tags pulling the material information as a material mark. All right. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. So, there you go with another fantastic Revit tip. If you need to put materials onto walls, it works great. Oh, man, I forgot. I was going to show you a different way of doing it. Do we have time? Let me look at the clock. Yes, we got just 1 second here. I'm going to say it right. I'm going to do it right now. Share screen. Okay, here's the other way of doing it. These are built inside the wall, right? So they happen everywhere. But what if I didn't want to do that? I'm going to go back to my plan, okay? And wait for it. This wall is called an S3 with a tile up to 4 feet on one side, okay? That's what the wall is called. And the stuff is built inside of it. So everywhere I put this wall, it's going to have the tile and the cap automatically. But I don't have to do that. Another way to do it that works perfectly good is this. I'm going to go wall. WA is what I typed on the keyboard. And I'm going to put in just a plain old S3. Okay? Here it is over here. Boom. S3. We go to 3D and take a look. This little piece of wall, section box. This little piece of wall sitting over here doesn't have anything on it, but I can put those other things on it super fast. Watch. Ready? Okay. So here we go. On the architecture tab, I can click on wall sweep. And this is applying a sweep to the outside of the wall. And this may be the preferred method for you to try this in your projects. Instead of building it inside the wall, you can do it this way. So a cornice is just that came with the project, it comes with the template, unless you purge it out, which is a really good idea, but I haven't done it. I'm going to hit edit type and duplicate, okay, for a wall sweep. I don't want a cornice. I want wall tile, okay? And so it's called wall tile. And so watch this. You just insert the information here. The profile I'm going to use for the wall tile is same profile. Wall tile up to 3'8", okay? Material is going to be, move your face, tile, let's go up here, T-I-L-E on the search. Wait for it, bam, there it is, blue tile. Okay, so now I'm using blue tile. at the profile 3/8. Okay, done. So now I'm carrying it and I just slap it on the wall. And so there's a 3'8" of tile. But when I highlight it, it is 2'6" off the floor. All I got to do is put that offset from the level is 0. Boom. And it lands it on the floor. You could make a strip of tile on your wall. Think outside the box. Now let's put a little piece of cap on top of this one. Here we go. Let's go to wall, sweep. Do I want to put the wall tile? No. Edit type, duplicate. This is wall tile cap. Okay. And so the profile is going to be the wall 4-inch tile cap. And I don't want to use that blue tile material. I want to switch it to the tile cap. Boom, that we already made. And when I say okay, take a look. I could put that on the wall. Okay, there she is. Way too high. If I click it, I can tell it now, instead of 6'6", put it down at 3'8". Boom. So there we go. It's on the wall. That is a perfectly good, and I think it might be better than embedding it, but you guys can go either direction. This works beautifully. Let me go back to my plan, or better yet, this elevation. And do these tag properly? I don't know. Let's check. Material tag. Oh yeah, there's your F7. Wait for it, T1, and wait again, T2. Boom. Okay, so they tag perfectly fine, regardless of how you integrate them into your project. All right, enough said on this topic. Stop share, and I think that's it. You guys have a fantastic day, and until we meet again, happy Reviting. All right, bye-bye.